Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Asia Doughton, and I'm a faculty member here in the MSU Department of Forestry, where my work specializes in urban and community forestry. And today I'd like to speak with you a little bit about what the amazing field of urban and community forestry is, and then the work that we're doing here at MSU to prepare students for exciting careers in this discipline. So let's start off with the question: what exactly is an urban forest? Well, lots of options here. I mean, are we talking about trees in cemeteries, trees on other forms of public property, right-of-way trees, or trees that line riverbanks that within our cities, or trees on people's private property? Take a second to think about the answer to the question. All right, I'll share it with you. When we think about the urban forest, we're really talking about trees and shrubs within our municipalities. And one really cool fact about urban forests in the United States is that on average, about 10% of trees in urban forests are publicly maintained trees, and the other 90% are actually found on publicly maintained and operated property. So just a really cool fact to think about as we move forward in today's talk. So if we're thinking about these trees in our cities, where they're located, how they're taken care of and managed, we're moving in the direction of defining what urban forestry really is. And so by and large, urban forestry is the planning and management of trees within cities and other residential areas. One of the really exciting things about urban and community forestry as an area of study and as a career field is that the work is really centered in locations where people are centered. And so when you think about a large city, a smaller town, one of the things that becomes really evident very quickly is just how dynamic that space is, in that you've got a lot of things that are happening with people and a lot of ways in which people are interacting with and influencing the environment around them. And so when we think about urban forestry, what makes it really interesting is that we're in a position to look at and study and really think about how to manage this, considering the ecological processes and patterns that take place in urban areas, as well as the social attitudes and behaviors of the people who live in, work in, and recreate within these spaces. And so urban forestry as an academic discipline and as a study, or as a field of practice, really enables us to think about how these processes and social attitudes and behaviors really interact with one another, and how we can use this knowledge to think about successful management of our urban forest resources. So that being said, urban forestry by and large is a truly interdisciplinary field. And so much of the work that we do in urban forestry is informed by scholarship and best practices from a variety of different fields, including but not limited to climate science, environmental justice, data visualization, GIS or Geographic Information Systems and Science, public policy, public health. The list goes on and on. But I also think that this is part of what makes this an exciting field, in that you have an opportunity to do work that allows you to tap into knowledge that's being generated and applied from a variety of these disciplines. And a lot of the work that we're doing now in urban forestry in the 2020s is really rooted in a lot of the initiatives that started over the past few decades, many of which were driven by and inspired by this societal shift that we saw that really put us as a global society in the mindset of developing our cities and our communities with a sustainability-based worldview. And so we've seen that happen along with a lot of people returning to cities and the urban population beginning to exceed the rural population. And that really drove the question of how do we sustain these urban populations in a way that's sustainable for people, but also the earth? And then how do we do so in a way that really allows for people in cities to interact with green space and benefit from their interaction with urban green spaces? And so that's really driven a lot of these initiatives that we've seen across the country, such as Million Trees New York City or Detroit's 10,000 Up campaign. and then the scholarship that builds from seeing these initiatives take place and wanting to be able that we can advance them in even more impactful ways. And by and large, when you think about these movements, you got to think also there are people who have to help lead them. And so with that being said, we know that the successful practice of urban forestry really requires that there's a workforce in place that has a solid knowledge base and strong applicable skill sets that can be applied to successful urban forest management. And in thinking about developing that workforce, that is what we're committed to here at MSU and the forestry department. We are putting in work to make sure that we give students who are interested in developing careers in urban forestry an opportunity to do so. And so how are we doing that? Well, through many different routes, if you will, including coursework, engaging our students in research, also making sure that students who are enrolled here are thinking about enrolling here have varied experiential learning opportunities, and making sure that our students have an opportunity to engage with the various communities around the state that are interested in doing work in urban and community forestry. So we have a course that we offer annually, Urban and Community Forestry, in which we provide this training. And I'll just show some of the photos of the work that we've done, including getting out and planting trees in Michigan communities, engaging in educational outreach initiatives, and making sure that students in our class are able to connect with professionals in the field through our virtual career day event. Also, we have graduate students and undergraduate students who are engaged in various research opportunities and experiential learning opportunities as well. We have our students who are actively engaged in educational outreach initiatives that include presenting urban forestry information at local community events, or working with communities to increase their ability to improve or sustain their urban forest management. And all this is done with the goal in mind of ensuring that students who come through our program are well equipped to enter the job market upon completing their degree. And that's whether they want to go into the private or public sector, maybe continuing in academia, or working with an NGO. And whatever route students may take, we look to the data and we see that if they do choose to pursue a career in urban forestry, it's likely that they're going to have a significant array of options for work, and that there will be job satisfaction in what they do. And so with that, I will just show you a few additional photos of some of the great things that we've been doing in urban and community forestry here and with our partners across the state and elsewhere in the US. And I will just open it up to any questions and really welcome you as you join our department or think about joining our department, and welcome the opportunity to speak with you all now or moving forward if you have any questions. Thanks a ton, and I hope you have a great time during our virtual open house as well as the remainder of the school year. Have a great one. Bye.